Well, yeah, it was an audition like anything else. I went in
Ah,
and
okay.
auditioned. There were only four people doing a live audition, and I think I was the second guy. And I knew immediately that Chick had decided after hearing me because he must have heard as much of his licks coming back at him from guitar. Um, I think there weren't many guys playing sort of quartal harmony. I love fourths,
Yeah.
the open sound of fourths, and they sort of sound almost like robot music. You know, that whenever you see sci-fi with robots, it's always fourths and random random fourths.
It's
So
open.
I'm that's a big part of what I do. You know, I love that interval and stacks of them.
Yeah.
And you know, not many guitar players do that. They don't really do it. And plus, you know, he heard my technique for the first time, and you know, people, it was still fresh to people in the world everywhere. And so he was just, I could tell he went, mm-hmm, got it. You know, it only took one song. He jumped up off the keyboard, shook my hand, and he said, "Your amp will be pointing across the stage, sort of at an angle." And I'm thinking, really? Already? One song? Brilliant. We
No,
played another two or three things, but I knew his mind was made up. I
that's
could
beautiful.
tell. So it was a beautiful thing. I was made to play for Chick Corea. I really was. As a guitar player, you know, I discovered his music at 13 and was completely in love with his playing. I mean, he's one of the greatest improvisers ever lived and one of the greatest composers. And you know, he's the third highest Grammy winner of all time.
Really, I didn't know that.
Think about that for a
Oh,
second. Like
yeah.
28 Grammys, something like that, and some 40 nominations. Insane.
Yeah, one of the most influential guys. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you know, Mozart. To
Oh,
me,
yeah.
he's Mozart
Yeah.
now, or was. God bless him. What a great man.
Yeah.
And to have spent that many years playing his music and knowing him as a person, you know, you can imagine the influence on me. And I would often pinch myself, you know, going, that's him. The thing that used to blow me away about Chick, you know, as an improviser, and I'm mostly a jazz musician, you know, fusion, jazz, whatever you want to call it. I'm a musician that appreciates soloing because I think soloing is the ultimate freedom and the highest thing level. If you see the brain activity of a jazz musician improvising over changes, it's like Fourth of July. It's like New Year's Eve fireworks.
Yeah.
It really is
Yeah. Yeah.
compared to anything else. It's well documented. So the thing that got me about Chick was, you know, people would come to the show and they'd see one show and they go, "Oh, wow, amazing!" And I'd hear him play and I'd go, this guy's amazing." And then I would hear him the next night and the next night and the next night, and it was never the same. I mean, we have our bag of tricks. We fall into our traps that, oh, not that lick again. I'm not going to play that. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
The essence of the word improvisation means to have no preconceived idea of what you're going to play. And that was him completely. He had such facility that it never was the same thing twice in the whole time I worked with him. And
Mm.
that's quite extraordinary, really. You know,
Yeah.
that there's a kind of a depth that is almost inhuman, almost alien, you know. So that's
Yeah.
an important thing to remember. The his level of improvisation was bottomless.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Really,
mean, that pushed you as well, right?
it
On
sure
tours,
did.
like three,
Oh
three,
my God.
3 week
If you
tours. I mean, and then you're like,
if you had to solo after him, what do you think?
yeah, I'd be like,
Are you going to dig deep? You have to. There's really no, he would push us to the highest level of our abilities and would continue to push us there, you know, like a friend who really is supportive and wants you to dig and go deep. And it's all about the music and it's art and it's the highest level. And
mm,
you push and you play at the extreme. There's no low. You don't
Yeah,
skate along. No, there was none of that. It was always 100%, 150%
yeah,
effort to dig and go somewhere you hadn't gone before.
yeah. And
It's
he had a young
incredible.
band, right? With you guys, you were like
Well, yeah, we were the young titans, and he was
back
the
then. Yeah,
he was the guru.
amazing. Wow.
And that's
That's a,
why he loved the band. He loved
yeah,
our energy because we all loved him. Everybody in that band loved him, and we honored his musicality and as a human being. And that's really important. You have to really love the work and the music you're making. It's important. This is his compositions, every
yeah,
one of them. There was never a piece of fluff anywhere. Everything had pure genius in it. And to our delight, we get to be the first to see it. And so I try to do this in my own compositions too. I try and always write something I've never heard before.
yeah.
And it's not easy to do. I'm always digging. Sometimes there was a song on my last record called Love Is Always the Answer. And it's a vocal song, but it had an instrumental break in the middle of it. And I must have written, I loved the A and B parts were perfect, but I was looking for a C part. And I must have written 30 different times on that same. And I kept rejecting and rejecting because it wasn't going somewhere fresh. And it took a long, it was sometimes songs just come right out. They just roll right out and they're almost complete like they're coming through you. But others are a real challenge
Yeah.
to reach the standard that you're trying to deliver.